Good morning from New York. Today's subject: promoting intermind communication can destroy the hateful, false comforts of MAGA. Well, for one thing, if people practiced it, which includes attempts to comfort from objective and creative and compassionate perspectives. This is ridiculous. Okay. This is kind of live. This is unedited. Alright. So, see, that's what you get with the nicely edited ones. See, things like that. Okay, but you know this is shooting from the hip and very genuine. Yeah, when we're communicating from these perspectives with an attempt to be coming from those perspectives, it's a little different than just sinking into a false comfort, with the lack of those things. And if you can get someone to do that, then their minds are going to be open. They're not going to be spooked and controlled by some fear-mongering individual like Trump. They're going to recognize that someone who's promoting fear and hatred is nothing like Jesus. So, nothing at all. Not to say that I am. And so, that illusion would collapse. What are these false comforts? Well, they're based. First of all, there has to be a fear going on, and the MAGAs, there's a source of that fear, but they're not seeing what they need to be afraid of. They need to be afraid of people like Trump, who's a billionaire in the hip pocket of all billionaires, and all about what Jesus called the root of all evil: money, greed, and what's called the center in this country. It's no longer the center. Between right and left, it's not. It's way shifted toward the conservative. I think Robert Reich points that out very clearly. He's got great videos. I highly suggest you listen to Robert. He's a brilliant man, and not to his critic, who was eating a hamburger and barely 25 if he is anywhere close, cutting up the things that Biden, that the very intelligent and well-educated Robert Reich had to say, and inserting his arguments. Nonsense, I can't miss the fact that he was a bit narcissistic, like Trump, where he comes across going, someone compliments him saying, you know, you're a good looking young man, something like that. You're a good looking guy. He says, "Oh, I am. Thank you. Thanks for noticing." Who says something like that? A narcissist. So, you know, well, in that moment, he certainly expressed something that looked a lot like narcissism. Who says that? You know, and quite frankly, we're all good looking when we're young. It's designed that way. That's so that we're willing to breed. Yeah, it works out better. Right? Yeah, we're healthier. We're better looking. Yeah, okay. And after that's over with, nature starts to get rid of us. Okay. Yeah, you want to fear something, fear old age, but you know, try to do something to hang on or something. You know, one humorously, one doctor said, you know, we're not living longer, we're dying longer, because old guys like me, you know, have a year or two left. Maybe. And anyway, but yeah, well, there's ways to transcend that kind of fear. But anyhow, the you know, Robert Reich is right, and the real fear that I think people are sensing, both in the Tea Party movement and the 99%, not so different than you might imagine. They are seeing that the system is rigged against the poor and the middle class right now. They're seeing that. You know, it's been that way for a while. You want to make America great again? Well, let's go back to the time we had unions. That might help. If you want to make America better, let's do even better than that. If you being objective, you know, then you don't fall for the trolls. You know, it's like, oh, it's not a socialist concept. The military, right? Oh yeah, in the roads, that's not a socialist kind. Paid for by taxes. Well, how do you suppose that a socialist idea is going to be promoted? By taxes. So yeah, and it's a very successful program. But take a look at it. We have the best military in the world, maybe ever since the world began, obviously. And we can't have the best medical insurance. We can't have the best. We can't have universal health care, free to all. We can't have education, free to everybody. Education that would teach people how to think, and not just what to think, which allows people to be deluded. Just memorizing facts doesn't make you smart. Having a memory does help a lot. Without it you can't be smart. Memorizing facts doesn't make you intelligent. It's knowing how to think. It's challenging the ideas that you think, and doing that effectively. So, You see people without any doubt in their mind. They're people who don't know how to question themselves and their ideas. That is not a humble person. That is not someone you want to follow. I am your retribution, says Trump. The poor people coming into the country to work, and we do need labor. It's just not. We really shouldn't be putting everybody into one or two cities that love immigrants, which we all are, or descendants of. Yeah. Yeah, and then he says about those people, oh my gosh, they are poisoning our blood. And you know, that doesn't sound like Hitler. Well, it does. That's exactly the kind of thing that Hitler said. It's about strengthening the male-dominated power approach, the strong ape approach. Oh, be strong, be leader. You know, if you fall for that, you really, really, really need inner mind communication. Definitely. You need an expert to guide you there. Not really. You just need to have connection to, you know, objective approaches, which is all over the internet. You have scientists, you know, who will help you with objectivity, you know, and compassion. Well, that's a slam dunk. You know, we know when we have compassion or not. And unless you're a psychopath, well, you know, there's always exceptions to the rule. And then there's, you know, creativity. Well, look at things from a lot of different perspectives, you know, and then put them together in useful ways. You've been creative. You know, all along the line you were being creative. That means considering the opposing point of view. For instance, do you think the MAGAs would be able to argue from the opposing point of view? No. Is that, where does that illusion, well, it's an illusion to what they are afraid of is just an illusion. The fear is real. The source is wrong. The source of their fear, what they're feeling encroaching on themselves, is a threat to their comfort zone. Well, if their comfort zone employs hatefulness and fear mongering, well, yeah, there's something wrong with that. And that's one of the reasons I promote, you know, being spiritual but not religious. Because religions, they have a lot of that punishing attitude sewn in. And that part of them isn't the good part. The mystics are the ones who are all embracing, caring about everybody. And they are peaceful in their actions as much as possible. And, you know, you look back and think, you know, the saints to me are Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Not a perfect guy. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that, but neither are any so-called saints. You know, trust me. You know, that is very unlikely. And, you know, Nelson Mandela, you know, Mahatma Gandhi. These are great souls. These are have a lot of empathy in their approach. But the empathy to take the other side's position and try to argue from it or to see their perspective, there's nothing wrong with that. You find yourself finding a lot more material to work with on the other person's with the other person's point of view. Maybe they're right, right? Maybe they are dead on the money. So this this hatefulness, how do we confront it? Well, for one thing, get out and vote. You've got good sense. Don't sit this one out. Don't look for perfection. Yeah, we've got two elderly gentlemen, probably, as our choices. Anything else is a spoiler. So, you really have no choice except for Joe Biden. And even Manchin, the Democrat who's really pretty conservative, he says he never noticed any ineptitude in Joe Biden. And that's saying something. Yeah, that's bold. You know, you hear them talking about, you know, that these false equivalences. This is one of the ways that these illusions, these comforting illusions, come into play, where you're handing off undue respect for a perspective that's dead wrong. You know, you put them both on stage, they have the same objective criteria that you're looking at. Where's the evidence, you know? Where's the evidence? You know, it's like the scientist says, show me the data. You know, do it that way. And, you know, it's like, who's elderly? Well, they're both elderly. I mean, and as far as unwell, I mean, they said it's between, this false equivalence coming into the mainstream media even, is that Joe Biden is the unwell candidate, Trump is the unfit. Well, he's more than unfit. He's also unwell. Unless, you know, in fact, far less well than Joe Biden. Look at the physique. You know, I've got a big pot gut. I am as well as somebody that's trim and fit. No. So I mean, it's between the possibly, well, if you consider old age unwell, which is a stretch. You know, if you're going to call Joe Biden unwell, then what are you going to call Trump? Unwell, and unfit, and unwell. Now that would be a more objective point of view. You know, it's come on. When you start, you know, false equivalences, and the worst one in MAGA is this idea from the Christian right, which is all about being hateful. This is what it is. It's love the sinner, but not the sin. Which leads to an awful lot of oppression of that so-called sinner. So look out, gay people, and look out anybody who disagrees with them. Yeah, because they want the reins of government. You gonna allow that in this country? Are you gonna really allow that? They came over to this country, the Christians came over to this country killing each other over water baptism, whether a baby was to be baptized at all or not. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, one of my grandfathers said that as a kid he could hear the the what is it, the hard shell Baptists and the Carmelites, which was the Church of Christ, arguing deep into the night about whether you're saved because you got baptized, that's a part of the process, or you're saved before that, and baptism is just a demonstration of the fact. Okay, and they were arguing through the night, and you have to wonder, and saved from what? That punishing attitude that's buried in all religions, So if you don't get it right, you're going to hell. If you're promoting the wrong thing, well, that's pretty serious, man. That's pretty serious. So you might find your religion kind of oppressed. Well, we have freedom of religion in this country. Well, we did. And the reason they set that up that way is because of that kind of thing. And even when they came over here and, for the freedom from their religion, they had no intention of giving freedom to others. So, yeah. So, you want to go back in time, to make America great again? Well, let's just keep improving America, shall we? Our first president was a slave owner. Hello? And you go, well, it's like back then it was just a normal thing, and it used to be a normal thing for women to be considered possessions of the men. Ladies, how are you gonna vote? For a guy like Trump, he's promoting that kind of perspective. You should be barefoot in the kitchen, kids. Young ladies. Ladies my age too. Barefoot in the kitchen. No equal rights. They used to give the kids to the dad. We got a little better than that. In the divorce I'm talking about, obviously. Yeah, they did. Well, he had all the money. Wow, women are underpaid. It's a far left thing for women to get fair pay. Really? Mansion? Even Manchin would see the need for that equality, I think. But Manchin says he's a centrist, but the center is shifted way to the right in this country. There are no unions because the big, powerful families, groups of people, these people who are those who got lucky with a little trick or two, they've taken all the money and they don't want to pay any taxes. And when you say, well, they'll raise the taxes, we'll just raise the price of everything. Well, not if you kill some of these monopolies that they have. If you're looking for the grand monopoly, if you're looking for the deep state, look at the bought government that we have. Bought. And you're going to elect one of their own, another billionaire, to be fair to you? Oh, really? No. So, this kind of, the fear that the MAGAs have, there's a real fear there. But consider the source. You got it all wrong. Yeah, there is a kind of deep state going on, but it's far right. And it's all about shoveling all the money to a handful of people and leaving you out one comedian says they're in a club and we're not in it. So it's about time that we started having enough sense to tell our neighbors, those who are persuadable, and get them out to vote. And if people can't argue from both sides of a perspective, or even make the attempt, something wrong there. You know, it's and that's left or right. You got to be able to consider it. But when another person is arguing that the world was, I don't know, created by a band of fairies, and that they're everywhere, but we just can't see them, and they're controlling the world and the weather. And if you pray to the right fairy, then the weather will change. Sure. Now, how can you argue from that side? Wow, that'd be tough, huh? I mean, you could sit there and think about it. And you know, what do you come up with as an argument? Oh, it could be, anything could happen. We don't know. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen, says the universe. I'll take my bets with the scientists, you know. And when they're wrong, they admit it. And usually they're right to a degree. To the degree things are predicted. Well, if you're taking a scientific view, a real inner mind communication view, you're looking at evidence for the thing you're talking about in the past and in the future. Okay, where is MAGA's argument? The past was better. There was slavery in the past. Is that better? Unions were killed, and that's a recent thing, pretty much. In the last 50 years, whatever. Is that better? No, I don't think so. So, the point is that the practice of empathy from these perspectives utterly destroys the MAGA perspective, which is a false comfort. You're not going to get anywhere promoting what should be seen as the real source of your fears. And how is it that you don't respect yourselves as trading partners in a capitalist country? The only way capitalism works is everybody's a trading partner and everybody can bargain. Everybody can trade. There's no free trade without fair trade. And things aren't fair. You're right about that, MAGA. They're not fair at all. We should have elected Bernie Sanders. Be honest. You know, there's a lot more that you deserve and need that you're not getting. And in fact, the America that Trump wants to go back to is even more oppressive than what you're looking at now. Just listen to his hate. Hate is not a family value. Evangelicals, it's not a family value. and fear mongering. Ditch it. Have your religion. Throw out the fear mongering. That's a way that you manipulate people, and people are not. If people are only good because they're scared to not be good, how genuine is that? Empathy is the only way. There are forms of it. Objectivity, objective empathy, source of truth. Creativity, creative empathy, source of artfulness. Compassionate empathy, source of goodness. Fair trade, communication of that social entity that you are with everything else, which involves trade, right? One kind or another. Think about it. If it's in communication with these virtues, these approaches, it grows and it improves, and it trading partner that you are grows and improves. The society grows and improves. So stand up for yourselves. Have a good sense about you. And vote for Joe. It's the only choice we have, really. Think about that. It's not a choice between something or nothing. You have to have a president. It's not a choice between voting for someone other than Joe, which could land us with Trump. That's it. So within the realm of possibility, our best choice is good old Joe. Comes from humble beginnings. Oh, and by the way, his impeachment is based on a report that they have proven to be false. An agent who lied and admitted it. Hello. Let Joe go. Stop this nonsense. They're just trying to make another false equivalence. They know their guy is probably going to jail. And not, then it'll be a miscarriage of justice. So they're trying to, he's bad too. No, he's not. It's a big difference between Joe and Donald. Donald's also big time loser. He'll be the death of the Republican Party. We'll only have one party left. If he gets elected, it's the death of the Republican Party, because people are going to wise up, and there isn't going to be any Republican Party. And if he isn't elected, that's going to be a good thing. Even if it's Nikki Haley, it's better than Trump. But if he gets the nomination, well, that will be the slow end of the Republican Party. Right there. Because they're still following him. And that'll be a blight on that party for a long time. And a shameful history to embrace. How do you want history to record you? That you stood up and did what's right, or you sank into your false comforts and your hatefulness and fear, and allowed the country perhaps the greatest country on earth. They go down the tubes. Wow. If that doesn't bring a tear to your eyes. Stop hugging the American flag. Jeez. What a weird display anyway. Respect. Well, that's how he respected women. When they wanted to hug or not, he gave them one. Yeah. You respect the flag now by hugging it. Salute it, okay? You salute it. If you're in the military, you do this. If you're a civilian, you do this. And you do... Hello! And it's a symbol. It's a symbol. Let's make that symbol the best, a symbol of the best society on earth. We can do it. It's possible. It's not impossible. Yeah. And have a little love for the earth. So that's what I've got to say about it. What do you think? If you're trolling me, I'm going to delete it. Ask probing questions. Okay. Or go see Robert Reich's channel. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good idea. Like at the end of my presentations, I like to say namaste. Because that's the ultimate empathy between and a greeting. From a loving perspective in you to potentially this loving perspective in the other person. You given that perspective honor, that potential honor, but you're also honoring the fact that the universe, which we're all a part of, exists in each of us. We are the universe, aware of itself. That's amazing. So, from that amazing point of view to that wonderful potential love in you, namaste.